Welcome to another book club with Ryan. You guys seem to enjoy the last one, so we're back to do it again. But honestly, I didn't expect this to happen. I really didn't. I kind of got fed up with the Memorial Edition and didn't really care to continue watching it, other than just keeping an eye out for the new scenes or any new thing that they would add along the way, just to see if it was worth commenting on. And nothing really was, until I saw that the title of episode 9, also funny because it adapts the ending of volume 9, although that's not intended, I'm sure, it was called Wounds. And if you guys know me, if you're a fan of my channel at all, if you were here for my manga analysis, or I even have a video specifically dedicated only to the Wounds chapters, which I'll link down below if you guys haven't seen it. It's an older video, but I believe I agree with everything I said in that video still. I can't believe that they did this. I can't believe that they adapted these chapters. Of all the chapters of Berserk, I'm not going to say that the Wounds chapters are the most important chapters in the entire Berserk manga. You know, I wouldn't be arrogant enough to say that, but I can say that they are the most important to me as a reader and just as a fan of the series, because it has a rawness and authenticity to it that I feel like, number one, is not really told much in manga, but then that I don't really see in any fictional stories hardly at all. There's a lot of stories that are just kind of afraid to delve into the darker elements that Berserk specifically gets into, but also it's the way that you carry them out and the way that you structure your story, because anybody could want to talk about these dark adult subjects like PTSD and trauma and sexual abuse and child abuse and all of these things, like, you know, but it's a difficult thing to wrap into a story and still have the story be entertaining and engaging and something that people want to watch. People don't necessarily want to watch just misery for all, you know, the series or the entire movie. It's like you have to weave it into a story where you're creating a narrative and you're expanding on characters, but it's also entertaining and it also gives you those emotional moments. It's a really difficult thing to do. And this is one of the reasons why I love storytelling and I love really good narratives and really great characters, is because I also recognize how difficult it is to do, how difficult it is to be a writer, and how difficult it is to write a scene like this and have it land and not have it seem pretentious and not have it seem preachy and not have it seem so depressing that you're like, why am I even bothering to read this? It's really difficult. Beyond that, when I read Berserk through for the first time, so I was introduced to it actually by the movie trilogy, so that was my first experience with Berserk, and then I watched the 97 anime after that, and then I started reading the manga after that. And so if you've watched the original trilogy or if you've watched 97, you know that the Wounds chapters are nowhere to be seen. They don't mention really anything. They do show Guts' history in 97, but they don't show anything with Donovan. They don't show that side of it. And so when reading the manga for the first time, I wasn't expecting the Wounds chapters at all. I just was like, all right, this is where Guts and Casca get down. Casca's looking good. Let's go. Guts is looking pretty good too, but that's besides the point. So I was just not expecting it. And then when I read through the chapters, it just hit me in such a profound way that, like, I'd never really experienced anything like this, especially in manga, that it could just be this realistic, this down to earth, especially in this dark fantasy setting, this dark fantasy story, that you would have such a profound human moment of expressing vulnerability to somebody and then having that somebody fully accept and embrace you within that, with all of your scars, all of your wounds, the symbolism of what wounds mean, how they build us up as people, how where we are now is because of those wounds, how we know that we're going to get more later, but we accept particular wounds from particular people because that we know that we want to be with them, we want to embrace them, we want to have them be part of our story. You know, every wound tells a story of something that happened, and Casca saying, I want a wound I can say you gave me, is such a beautiful line, because it's just like she's accepting Guts fully into her life and she wants Guts to leave an impact on her in some way. And I'm going to resist making a dirty joke there because I am trying to be moderately serious right now. But it just is an absolutely incredible couple of chapters. And I understood why the animes really didn't tackle them before because, well, one, you got to have your characters just like be in the middle of a sexual act and be naked and vulnerable, and the animation of that and what you're allowed to show and yada yada. And even though anime gets extremely dark, there still is censorship out there. There is. Even in Berserk, there's still censorship, right? Not in the manga, but in the anime. So when they were adding in new scenes and stuff like that for the memorial edition, this is one that, you know, in the back of my mind, I always thought that would be amazing to have. This is an extremely important scene for what it means for Guts and Casca's character, for what it means moving forward, for what it means for just anybody out there that has experienced some kind of disgusting hardship and trauma in their life and having it being brought to the surface. It tackles it in a very true way. And I think it's an important scene to experience for the Guts character, for reading Berserk, to understand Berserk more, to understand Guts more. And also, listen, there's so many people that have told me, that have literally said that like things have happened in their lives that they connected with Guts with, and a moment like this and a scene like this helped them in their own recovery and helped them in their own progression in life. And that's the beautiful thing about storytelling, and the beautiful thing about fiction is that even though it's a fictional story, none of it's real. There's real shit in there, and there's lessons to be learned, and there's things that we can take from it and apply to our own lives. And this is why I think fictional stories are very, very important, and that's why I've always been drawn to them, because it's not just for entertainment. It's also to maybe give you a new perspective on something, or help you through something, or help you understand something better. Storytelling has always existed for all of human history, and largely the reason why is to give you lessons in a concise way to help you apply to real life, right? So anyways, I wasn't expecting this to happen, and I thought they did an extremely good job. Now, it's not perfect, all right? I do have some minor gripes. Minor gripe number one is, again, the animation sometimes is a bit stunted because they, substitute with CGI. I understand budgets, time, all that stuff, whatever, gets a little bit of a pass. They also did skip a little bit. I'm being really nitpicky. I'm being such a fucking gatekeepy fan here. I'm sorry. They did skip a little bit, though. They skipped the beginning with Casca. Because the Wounds chapters are not just all about Guts. They're also about Casca. And Casca saying, first her feeling kind of uncomfortable with exposing her body like that, and feeling like her body's muscular and masculine, and what this means, and the fact that she had pined for Griffith for so long. So what does it mean to her if she shifts to Guts? Like, does it invalidate who she was? And Guts confirming that, like, every single piece of everything you did in life led you to this moment. Every single scar is a part of you. It tells a story. Like, it's all you. So nothing invalidates anything. It's all a natural progression of who you are. So there's all that, and Guts, confirming many things to her about that. That part was left out. So that, if I had any gripes, that's probably it. But when it comes to the Guts story, and I can't really show you guys much here because, all I'm gonna say is my boy Guts looks pretty good, and I gotta get back to the gym, man. I gotta get back to the gym. But it does show, when he grabs Casca by the neck and feels that PTSD of the Donovan moment, which they don't show really anything of, but you understand what happens, right? And him feeling, this is the reason why he never wanted to be touched. Him feeling like he's in the position of the abuser because he's in the dominant position here, and, seeing himself in Casca, and then breaking down and revealing to her that, he was molested as a child, and then he killed Donovan, and then he also wound up killing Gambino, who he never meant to. Even though Gambino was a horrible person to him, it was his only semblance of a father figure. And so even though, and this is how abuse works, right? Especially at an early age. It's like, yeah, this person was horrible to you, but he was also your caretaker. He was also your provider. He was also the person that trained you. He was also the person that gave you things, valuable skills that you used in life to propel your own life. So even though he was a horrible person, he still had feelings for him. He still loved Gambino as a father figure. And the fact that he wound up killing him destroyed him. It was a horrible, it's just, PTSD out the ass, like ridiculous. And Guts breaking down and crying and just showing that vulnerability, and Then the regret of showing it in front of Casca, turning his back on her and saying, I'm sorry I ruined this moment for you. Like, this is your first time, my first time, and I fucked it up. I ruined it. I'm sorry. And then the best moment in the manga for me is Casca just hugging Guts from behind and just telling him that it's okay. Telling him that she accepts him fully. She accepts him for all of his faults, all of his wounds. He accepts her for all of her wounds. And just the fact that the characters are naked during the scene, kind of that symbolism of just being completely, everything is exposed. They know everything. They know each deep, dark secret about one another. Everything is on the line. This is the moment. Do you accept each other? Are you with each other? This is your moment to turn away, right? This is the moment to leave. If we're not doing this, if we're not being together, if this isn't a thing, everything's exposed. Now's the time. And she doesn't leave. And, I don't know, man. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's amazing. I love it. I can't believe they animated it. I really can't. I legitimately can't believe it. So, look, if I'm recommending the anime to somebody, I'm still going to recommend 97. But the fact that they took the time to add in what they did and understood as storytellers that this is important and this is something that should not be omitted from the story. And if you're adding in any scenes, this needs to be your highest priority. And they did it. So I give them a round of applause for that. Absolutely. Let me know what you guys thought of the episode, if you saw it, or of the scene, and tell me how you thought they did. And before I get any more emotional, I'm going to end the video. So thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Comment down below. And subscribe to the channel if you're not already, because I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm not going to do it, but I'm so close. So if you help me, I'd appreciate it. Other than that, guys, I'll talk to you next time.